Hey there, welcome back to another episode of Considering the Source. I love the intro music that we use here on the podcast. It's from a friend of mine, Elijah. This is his band. The band is named Nomads. And if you go to our website, consideringthesource.com, I have a link to their site on Bandcamp where you can listen to every song on both of their albums. They have two albums that are out. One is the self-titled Nomads. The second one is entitled When Those Around Us Leave. They're both really, really good, and I highly recommend them. Well, I got to tell you, I'm about to present to you Jeff Henson Part 2. I could not believe how many downloads of our first conversation took place. In 2 days, there was almost 200 downloads. So, wow. I mean, people really want to hear what Jeff has to say. It's remarkable. So I can't wait to see what the numbers are now that we're going to release this episode. So this is another hour of our conversation with Jeff and I. Where we left off last time was I talked about when I went and seen Rat here in Cleveland. And amazingly enough, found out that Jeff and his wife Becky were there at the same time. So that was crazy. Well, he's about to tell you a very similar experience he had with one of his absolute favorite bands and their lead singer. So he's going to talk about that a little bit. He's going to talk about, once again, high school and some stuff some stuff that he experienced there, and even getting beaten up, which is insane. And then we get to a point where I actually just asked Jeff straight out about church and God. What's his view on that? Why doesn't he go? And so Jeff just gives some really honest answers. He pauses for a second. You can tell that he really maybe doesn't want to go there, but in the end, Jeff just says exactly what he thinks. And so I applaud him for that. And then we kind of close up talking about things about judging, dealing with crazy people on Facebook, racism and sexism. We hear a hilarious story. It was just kind of an impromptu thing. I asked him, I said, so, hey, did you ever get fired from a job? And so he tells a story of when he got fired. It's pretty funny. And then we close up by talking about ADHD. So anyway, hey guys, really do appreciate you listening to another episode of Considering the Source. Please feel free to post your comments or questions on our website, or you can go ahead and email those to consideringthesource@gmail.com. Anyway, enjoy this episode, and thanks so much for listening.
Well, along that same line,
Okay.
you know, not to totally piss on your parade or anything,
No.
but
You stayed for the whole show.
no, well, yeah, I stayed for the whole show.
And
yeah.
you went backstage and you actually hugged Stephen
No,
Pearson.
no,
You
Becky,
son of a...
Becky loves Stephen Pearcy, so we stayed for the whole thing. So that's why basically why we went. I like Red too. Don't get me wrong. I mean, hey, you know, hair metal, it's awesome. But the band Overkill,
Yes.
you ever hear Overkill? Okay, they're my favorite band.
Okay.
Okay, so I've seen them probably upwards of 25 times.
Okay.
Okay. The one time in, it was 99, they came, and we'd always go early, and we'd meet them, and we'd talk to them, get autographed and a new CD and stuff or whatever. So the singer, Blitz, we were talking to him, and we just asked him, we said, hey, what are you doing for dinner? Do you want to come to our house for dinner? Just, you know, jokingly asking or whatever and everything. He's like, all right.
Oh my...
So he goes, this was way earlier in the day. It was like a Saturday or something like that. You know, that's what it was. It was, there was like it was a big fest going on. It was like an all day kind of event or whatever. And we hung out by the bus. And,
was it Ozfest?
No, it was at the Agora. It was it was like a local thing, like World Series of Metal. It was a bunch,
Okay.
whatever. And, so long story short is, you know, he came back to the house. It's just
Really?
him. Yeah, he asked if somebody else could come from their like road crew or something. We said, yeah, absolutely. And then the guy ended up not coming. So it was just him. And so he came to our house, and Becky made rigatoni.
Yeah.
And he's a real skinny, you know, just lanky kind of guy, you know,
Yeah.
and he ate a shitload.
Is that
I'll tell
right?
you- oh, yeah. And he sat at our table, ate, talked with us, the whole bit.
How was that?
It was awesome. Oh my God, it was the coolest thing ever.
Did he have some incredible stories?
Yeah, yeah, he did.
You can share those now.
Sure, yeah. I remember basically the punchline of it, but he told me this. Long story short is, I went and I dropped Becky off at home, so, because she was going to make dinner, make the
Because she's a woman and she needs
She had to be in the kitchen.
Right.
And she hated being outside barefoot like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So she was going to make that, and then I went back and picked him up, and I drove him back.
Okay.
And so he starts telling me the story about, long story short is, it was about the two roadies that they had, and there was some groupie, who was there, and the one guy, took this chick back, and she blew him.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So then right after that, like, that chick comes out, and she got with one of the other roadie guys or whatever, and, like, right there in front of it, they were, like, making out. and so he's like, the one guy then goes to the other guy like, "Hey, Johnny," or whatever, "how's my dick taste?" And he's like, and Blitz was like, I had to separate them, like, they were going to kill each other. And they were all pissed. I never laughed so fucking hard in my life. And so that's basically what I remember. And I asked them, I don't know, whatever, basic stuff or whatever about the band. And then Becky got all mad at me because, he sat at the one spot at the table, and his footprint, shoe print was in the carpeting. And I vacuumed around that thing for months. I was gonna like cut it out and just, that was like our, thing. We got pictures of them at our house and stuff, but nonetheless, that was still the funny thing. It was just that I vacuumed around the footprint.
It was like when Marsha Brady, I think, she didn't wash her because, like, Sean Cassidy kissed her.
Yeah.
And she wasn't going to.
Davy Jones.
Oh, was it? That's right, Davy Jones. Thank you. Same thing.
Same thing. Leaf Dare.
So,
Cousin
have you ran into him again?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Has he been over again?
No, he's not been over again.
Does he remember coming over?
Yeah. Well, he remembers us.
That's
absolutely,
cool.
Yeah. Then the next time, he invited us on the bus, and we kind of sat on the bus for a little while and stuff like that. And
wow.
I didn't blow him or anything. But
well, that's good.
Becky might have. I don't know.
Whatever.
But
You gotta give him a little leeway.
Great music. And,
So
take the good with the bad.
All right, tell me a funny story.
Two clowns walk into a bar.
Okay, that's a good one.
I just told you a funny story.
That was a good one.
A funny story about what?
Let me take a look here.
All right.
Tell me. So for those of you at home, I have stories here about, or just topics. So I'm going to read them to you. I'll read you some topics, and whatever one comes to mind, a good story, you can tell me. You can tell me if, I don't know if you're going to have a funny story about God. Hopefully you don't have a funny story about God, but maybe you do.
What, you're saying God's not funny?
I think God has a sense of humor. Yes, he does.
All right.
I like to think he does. Funny story about your childhood, your parents, your siblings, your first love, a good day at work, a bad day at work, something funny that happened in high school, something embarrassing, a proud moment.
Okay. All right. I could tell you a story about high school.
Okay.
There was Becky and I have been together since I was in 10th grade. She was in 9th grade. I was in 10th grade. And so
you're 15 or 16?
I had just turned 15. She just turned 14.
Okay. And so you recently turned 40.
Yes.
All right. So.
Yeah.
25 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. All right.
So a long time.
And you never dated anybody else in that time?
In that time? No.
It's been her the whole time?
Yep. Yes.
That she knows of.
That she knows of, yes.
I saw that wink.
See what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
absolutely, yeah.
All right.
I mean, besides you.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
I mean,
this is not dating.
I'm at going to the comic show, but okay. Yeah, so, that's another way. I mean, again, it kind of falls into that whole thing. But, people, we face it a lot, like people trying to break us up a lot in high school.
They did.
Yeah. You know how people always say, like, oh, high school was so great, and I love high school, I wish I could... No, high school fucking sucked.
Why?
Because people are petty assholes. Okay. I mean, and
that changes?
Sometimes. Yeah, sometimes it does. Believe it or not, sometimes it does. It's funny, like, with the whole Facebook thing. I mean, I've been on, whatever, 6 years now, or whatever it is, and you find that some people do change. You know,
that's true.
Absolutely, and I mean, I'm friends with some of the people that tried to break us up. You know,
how did they try to break you up?
No names mentioned, but they would always say, "Oh, Becky's trying to get with this guy, or Jeff's trying to get with this girl, or, you know, or whatever. And, you know, I had a mouth on me then, too, you know, so I'd run my mouth a lot. And, yeah, my mom always said that, too, like, you know, you're going to get your ass kicked one of these times in high school. And I did. And whatever. I'm still an asshole. Whatever. What are you going to do?
How bad did you get beat up?
Nah.
Did they curb you? That's really what
I didn't get a like curb job or anything like that. No, nothing like that. I mean, God, it was Brunswick, you know. I mean, not like, you know, anybody really knows how to fight here, but myself included. But I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Yes, I could tell.
Yeah. So anyway, I was, you know, it was Becky and I fell into the burnout category, you know, because, you know, let's be honest. I mean, Breakfast Club's real.
It was to me.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are those people.
So you were the
there are those more John Bender.
Okay, you're the Johnny Bender.
Yeah, absolutely.
And who was she?
She was a female John Bender.
Okay.
I guess.
She was one of those girls that he said, these are the girls I hang out with.
Yeah, there are girls I hang out with. Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah,
all right.
Good point. Yeah, exactly. So, and I would go farther. I mean, there's more than just 5.
True. But
people.
Those really are...
Those are the
key components.
The key, yeah, absolutely. The key ones.
Can I say something?
Sure.
This is something I've always felt about, like when I watched The Breakfast Club, is that what I felt John Hughes did really well is there is a group of people, like for myself, for instance, when I watched Breakfast Club, I felt like I was there.
Sure.
But I didn't
You're
neatly
Anthony Michael Hall. Right?
Well, no. I didn't neatly fall into any of them.
But see, this is what I find, that people who think that they don't fall into them actually do fall into them.
I couldn't see... I was definitely... Okay, so Anthony Michael Hall dealt with his grades, and he was concerned with that. Not me. I wanted to be an athlete, but I wasn't like Emilio Estevez, where I was lettering and things like that. As much as I probably wanted to be like John Bender, I wasn't. I've never done any kind of drug or anything like that in my life.
You are a neo-maxi Zunduibi.
Yeah. What would your parents be doing if you were not making yourself a better citizen? So, and so I wasn't any of those. So that's what.
But I guarantee you, right now, if we're in Saturday detention together, I'm having you write that fucking letter. I'm telling you right now.
Okay.
Right. So
okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
So.
All right. So,
go ahead.
This is the beauty of this podcast,
right.
is that it just goes, who knows where it's going to go. All right. So, where this whole thing started was, but that was all I was going to point out about Breakfast Club, is that I've always felt like the viewer is like the 6th person that's there.
Sure. Okay.
Because
I'll give you that.
Because a lot of people don't. They don't
like
see
you're
themselves
sitting at a different table,
yeah,
right on the side.
Yeah, but you're just the silent person taking it all in. And dude, there's no. For me, as far as the teen movies of the 80s and 90s, it is just the best. Like the scene in which they're all now sitting with their backs against like the wall, and they're having that conversation, and she's like, "Are we?" And I think Ali Sheedy says, "Are we turning into our parents?"
Yeah.
And when you get old, your soul dies. I mean, that whole conversation there is just so really, really powerful.
The coolest guy in the movie, though, who is it?
Vernon? Please don't say Vernon.
No.
Okay, you're talking about the janitor,
yeah,
Carl?
Yeah, the janitor.
So,
Carl, how does one become a janitor?
Now, did you never note, I'm sure you did, that when you watch The Breakfast Club, in the opening sequence, it has Man of the Year was Carl.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Watch at the very beginning of the movie.
So
it kind of shows you, like creepy Rob Lowe and Peakton High School Rob Lowe was real. So they're showing you that this guy, when he graduates from that very school, he was Man of the Year. And here he is, the janitor. And so now you have Johnny Bender going, so hey, how does one, you think I plan, you don't think I hear everything,
I'm the eyes and ears
of this institution, right?
That's the greatest line in the whole movie.
Yeah, Yep. So, I kind of agree. Yeah. But I will also tell you that I was very sad when Mr. Vernon died. The actor, when he died. Because I've always wanted, I remember in high school I actually wrote a script for Breakfast Club 2. It was total crap.
You know that there's an extended, supposedly like super long extended version of the Breakfast Club that John Hughes had before he died, and it was like 3 hours long, and only his wife has it now, and the only people that have seen it are
the actors. Is that right?
There's supposedly there's long drawn out dream sequences and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is there a cop chase or anything in there?
I don't think so.
Oh, that'd be good.
Schwarzenegger might be in there.
That's the only thing that
Run
we
to
missed.
the bombing down, get out. You know.
All right, so you're going to tell me a funny story about high school.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. So people were always trying to
And then when you're done, I'll tell you one of my own.
All right.
All right.
You remember that long ago?
Yes, I do.
Oh my god. All right.
Like it was yesterday.
Oh my god. And so I was running my mouth to whoever and people and this and that, and it was a whole thing with the whole jock preppy crowd
Yes.
or whatever. And, so I was in bed with all of them, and so the one guy had already beat me up. So
Like punched you in the face?
yeah,
That kind of beat you up?
yeah. Like outside of school, beat me up. Yeah.
Do you still see this guy?
No, I don't.
What's his name? What's his first name?
Dan.
You remember his last name though, don't you?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I totally remember his last name because it's funny because his brother was in my grade and his brother was a great guy, super cool guy.
But his oldest brother is an ass.
It was a younger brother. It was 1 year younger, so it's not like it's.
Is he younger than he was younger than you?
Yeah, 1 year. Yeah.
Well, you know what? Did that deflate you too?
No, he might have been I was young for my grade.
Okay.
Where my birthday falls. So I mean, it was like probably a 6 month difference. I don't know. Who knows?
Okay.
Whatever.
But did it still mess with you that he was 6 months younger?
No, because he was.
It
big.
should have.
It should have.
Yeah.
Well, whatever.
You should feel bad about yourself.
Should I?
Still. All right, so go ahead.
So this little 9-year-old kid beats the shit out of me, and
But he knew karate and stuff.
yeah, exactly, yeah. So every day, Becky and I had our schedules planned out. When we would meet between classes and everything. When we would pass each other, so we knew, supposed to meet at certain spots or whatever. And so I'm sitting there. I'm at the end of the center hall, right by the freshman section. And for those of you Brunswick High School people who are following along,
there's tons of my listeners.
yeah, well, there will be people will listen. People will listen. Maybe, I don't know. Nobody wants to read my shit, let alone listen to 2 hours of me ranting. But so I'm standing there, and it's the halls are clearing out. There's 5 minutes between classes, and the halls are clearing out. It's getting late. I'm like, fuck, what's going on? Where is she, man? And my buddy Joe Ferry comes walking down with his girlfriend, and they come all the way down, and he's like, hey, man, Becky is down. Becky's in a fight down at the other end. And I'm like, fuck. And I go, the center hallway is just super long, man. I mean, it's super long. And
did you book it down there?
Yeah, I booked it down there. And by then, it had already been broken up, and they were getting taken to the principal's office. And here, one of the preppy dudes kind of like talked this chick into picking a fight with Becky.
He was like Steph from Pretty in Pink. James Spader. You didn't watch. All right, never mind.
I'm sorry. There's a couple of those 80s movies I've never seen.
Our interview is over.
I've never seen Pretty in Pink, and I never saw. I don't know. Say Anything. I've never seen Say Anything. Yeah.
That's
one of those things. Yeah, I don't know. It's just escaping me. One of these days, I'm going to watch all these movies I've never watched. It's a Wonderful Life. I've never seen. Yeah, all this.
Have you seen The Godfathers?
Yes.
Okay, that's all that matters.
And I didn't think Godfather 3 was that bad, but obviously
it wasn't that bad.
But Godfather 1 were just insanely awesome. Yes.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Do you have ADHD?
I don't know. Do I?
Because I do. And talking with you is fun.
Squirrel.
Yeah. All right, so a preppy guy had talked his girlfriend into getting into a fight with Becky.
It was probably she probably wanted to get laid by this guy or whatever. But anyway,
of course she did.
So,
and why did he want her to get in a fight with Becky?
To get to me.
Oh.
All
right.
The way to a man's heart isn't through his stomach; it's through his girlfriend.
Okay.
I guess or something. So it was one of those things. He wanted to get to Becky. So, long story short is Becky ended up beating the shit out of this chick. So, which was pretty awesome. So, Becky did it with this other girl too. She said something to her about me or something like that, and Becky. This is what people don't realize. Becky was in karate most of her life.
Is that right?
Yeah. So she could take care of herself. So I never feel bad, or worried about anything like that. So So, and she's taking it again now with my brother teaches it, so Josie, my daughter, and Becky are both taking lessons from my brother.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, they're in the office, and Becky hears this girl ask the one lady, and they're like, "How does my eye look? Is it black and blue?" Because Becky nailed her. Uh-huh. So anyway, so that was that, and then the other time Becky got into it with some chick about me, or this chick was being a bitch or whatever. I don't know, whatever it was, and Becky grabbed her by the throat and threw her up against the locker and said, "Listen, bitch, if you ever fuck with me again, I'll kill you." And so, something to that effect. I don't know. Something like... So, guess what? She didn't fuck with her again.
I bet she didn't.
Yeah. So, yeah. So, then everything has kind of died down from there or whatever. But anyway, and that's why I say high school wasn't that great. Because it was just a lot of that. It was, younger couples like that, like me and her, you naturally have a lot of jealousy towards, whatever. And then that just played in on it even more. You know what I mean?
You guys had jealousy issues?
Yeah, I mean, you always have. I mean, 14, 15, 16 or whatever.
Yeah.
And, it's high school,
right.
And you naturally have, why are you talking to that guy? Why are you talking to that girl? Who's that girl? Whatever.
Right.
That type of stuff. And,
But it sounds, in a certain way, very mature for both of you, in that, you would...
to grab somebody by the throat and say, I'll fucking kill you?
In a certain way. What I'm saying is, it's mature in that I'm not tolerating. I'm not tolerating this.
Yeah.
There's certain behavior I'm not going to tolerate. It's not just like grabbing a kid because you want their money or because...
But you really sound like a parent right there. I'm not going to tolerate this type of behavior.
That's what I'm saying.
You go to a timeout.
It just sounds mature.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it was. It sounds mature.
Right.
My embarrassing high school story was I was probably... I went to a lot of schools. In fact, when I graduated high school, I had already attended 3 high schools.
Really?
Yeah.
You ever see the movie Heathers?
No.
Really?
Yeah. Well, you didn't
that's
see
my
It's
top,
a Wonderful Life.
That's mine and Becky's favorite movie.
Okay, Whatever Heather.
Together.
Is that one of the lines, Whatever Heather?
No, it's not. But
right.
that's like Christian Slater was saying, long story short, is he was always moving around because his dad was in the construction business, and he says, 5 different high schools in 4 different states. And the only thing that's changed is my locker combination. Because of all the people. The people are the same.
They play the same role no matter what school.
There's always a Heather.
Yeah.
There's always a fucking Heather.
Okay. I'll have to check this out.
Oh, you'll love it.
Okay.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I felt that way. When I was 18, Jeff, I was 18, I lived in 18 different houses.
Really?
Yeah. And the next question people always ask is, was your dad military? No. We were always moving to go to different, he was in school to continue his career. And so that just moved us from here to Maryland, to Zanesville, Ohio, to Tennessee, to Texas, to Saudi Arabia. There was all kind of moves all the time.
Saudi Arabia?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's for another podcast.
Okay.
So, so we were moving all the time. The worst of those moves was 7th grade. Between 7th and 8th grade, I was informed, because your dad's not asking you. He's telling you, we're moving from, I think I was going to school in Newark, Ohio. We're going to go from there to Tennessee. And so I'd been at that school already for a couple years and it developed socially. And now we're saying, screw that. We're sending you down to Tennessee, where you know no one. It's just you and your sister. She's going to be in another classroom. You're both going to fend for yourselves. It was really sucked. And I was going to tell you another story. This is the story I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
All right. This is the story I'm now going to tell you.
Right.
So this was the worst day. And so I'm entering 8th grade. And so it's the summer. We moved down and my dad says, I contacted the school and the 8th grade class is going to be going on this trip to, Pigeon Forge.
Okay.
Tennessee. It's near Gatlinburg. And they're going to take you out, to a water park. Do you want to go? No, I don't want to go. Well, you're going to go. Fine.
Why didn't you want to go?
Because I didn't know anybody.
Oh.
And it was just this forced, awkward. It was going to be horrible, and it absolutely was.
Okay.
And so I remember him dropping me off at that school. And Jeff, you don't know anybody. You don't know a single soul. And these are all cliques. These are all kids who've been going to school together. No kidding. When I tell you, the vast majority of these kids have probably been going to school together since 1st or 2nd grade. So their cliques, their social, everything is already set.
What grade was this?
I was moving there. I was going there to start the 8th grade.
They have 8th grade in Tennessee?
Yes, I know.
Oh my God.
They're very progressive.
Wow, holy shit.
So I get there, and we get on this bus. And the only thing I thought, well, I'll bring with me some, I was into BMX racing. Okay. So I had all these BMX action magazines. So I had those. And I remember, so it's probably an hour and a half drive from Chattanooga to Gatlinburg.
Okay.
And so for the first hour, it's just me sitting by this empty seat. No one's talking to me. No one's addressing me. Nothing. I mean, it was pure hell. And so finally,
I just want to let all the listeners know Scott's crying.
A little bit.
Go ahead.
At some point in time, I kind of determined in my head, I'm like, all right, I'm going to have to make a move here. And so there were these two guys that sat behind me, Chuck and Kevin.
Okay.
And I know their last names, but I won't share that. But Chuck and Kevin.
Because Chuck and Kevin in Tennessee listen to these podcasts.
Oh yeah, they're avid listeners.
Sure, right.
And I remember turning around and just saying, "Hey, do you guys like BMX racing?" And they said, "Yeah, sure." And so I said, "Well, I have some of these magazines here. You're welcome to look at them if you want." And so they took them and they responded, which immediately meant, "You are now my best friends."
Sure. Yeah. Right.
And so here's where it gets really, at least in my mind, sad.
Okay.
Is that so we get to the water park, and again, not a great idea for me. Now, let me go ahead and introduce myself to these people, male and female, who I don't know. And the idea is, let's take our shirts off.
Sure. That sounds cool.
Not a recipe for increasing your social status. So I weighed like 75 pounds. It was so, but I have Kevin and I have Chuck, and these are the guys that I'm going to hang out with. They got
your back for life. Right.
Well, yeah,
sure,
yeah.
Absolutely.
I think.
Right.
I think. So I'm literally, wherever they go, I go, whether they want me there or not. And this was the moment. This is the moment. At one point in time, they say, "Hey," and so they have one of those huge wave pools, right? And they said, "We're going to race from here and see who can get to the front the fastest." All right, I'm down for competition.
Sure.
On your mark, get set, go. I'm booking because socially now I need to beat them.
Okay.
Okay. I don't want to tie them. I want to beat them to increase my social status with them. They'll have to respect that, right? Well, I do. I beat them. I demolish them.
You let them win.
No. They're nowhere to be seen. Okay. Why are they nowhere to be seen? I'm looking around, I'm trying to look around and I see them on the far end of the pool sneaking out because this was their way to ditch me.
Cue the sad, incredible Hulk
this is
away.
Yeah. It was really, really sad. But I don't know. Did it do anything? I'm still friends with at least. I'm Facebook friends. I do.
Oh, really?
I'm Facebook friends with Chuck.
I'm going to look up Chuck and be like, "What the fuck is your problem, Chuck?"
I guess I can't blame them.
You want me to have Becky take care of them?
She could.
All right, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
But
we're going down to Gatlinburg soon for.
Are you?
Yeah, for spring break.
Really?
Fuck yeah.
Well, stay away from that water park.
All right, we'll do.
The pool is filled with my tears.
All right.
It's just.
We'll do.
Anyway, so why don't you go to church?
Squirrel.
You told me to push you, so I'll push you here.
Me personally, it doesn't do anything for me because I have even listening to you. You sound like very convincing. A lot of that stuff and everything. I feel, God, I know this sounds way narcissistic or whatever, but I feel a lot of times I'm smarter than the friggin' preacher.
Okay.
Because a preacher that at a church that you and I both went to, older preacher, I'd asked him a couple questions and he didn't know the answer to some things, and I looked it up. I mean, this is when I was first new and kind of somewhat new. I was raised Christian and everything like that, but we never went to church or whatever. But and just simple stuff that like anybody who went to school for this should know. I mean, I can't exactly remember. It was we went to the Dead Sea Scrolls exhibit with them, and I asked something, and he didn't know. I don't know, and he just seemed kind of dopey about it. And a lot of this stuff, it's I think that the church, some people need it, I think, and some people don't. And a lot of times it's a social gathering. That's all it is. And a lot of times it's just a cheerleader section. Like, yeah, you can do it. Okay. Get out there and be like Jesus. It's like, well, okay. But then, it's like, when we were first getting married, going to get married, we started going to a church because, well, let's just say some people said that we should start frequenting this church that we were getting married at, and I was like, okay, I understand. I get it, whatever. And so I'm there and I'm putting on my jacket and I reach out my arm and I put on the jacket and I kind of I tap somebody, just putting on my jacket, just nothing bad or anything like that. Nothing hard by no means. I go, oh, I'm sorry, excuse me. And she just looked at me and gave me this stink eye, and just like, and I'm sure it's just, the way I looked, whatever. And I know I'm not going to hold everybody accountable for that. And, it was one person, but in that same respect, then when we were in Parma, we were going to this other church and this guy was just, this preacher, at first he seemed really cool, fired up, cool, I learned some things, and everything, and just cool. And then he started getting pissed off about things like, the tithing, and didn't think people were tithing enough, and wanted us, and then he wanted, all of us, a couple to go up and tithe together. First off, they wanted, each person, even if you were a couple, to go up. Each person would tithe their own money. And you had to walk up. They didn't pass a bucket. You walked up so that everybody could see you.
Oh my.
And all this, he kept going on and on about money, and I'm like, this motherfucker, something's up with this, right? So I did my research. Long story short is, it was all about money, and it was, it was just that. It was always, something. And it was a nice church, it's not like it was...
This was not the church that you and I...
No, this was not this is the one in Parma.
Okay.
And so then I did my research on this guy, and I found out that he was close to foreclosure on his home, and he was in a lot of debt. And then I'm like, well, if this guy can't handle his own finances, what makes me think that he can handle these finances? And, and I really have a hard time with the fact that some of these preachers and pastors they make about $80,000 a year?
Some do.
That's like the average in the Cleveland area. I looked it up. It was like $60,000 or $80,000. And that was a while ago I looked that up.
Okay.
And that's all well and good and everything. In the same respect, and I understand there's more than just Sunday morning.
Yeah.
There's hospital visits, there's all this stuff and everything. But that is one profession that you should be doing that for your love. Love of wanting to do that, not just a job.
Yeah.
So I have a real I don't have any problem giving my money to anybody who needs it. I think most people don't need it. Okay. I think most people are just, I need this or I need that, and I need, it's like these guys at work, who complain about not having money for lunch, but yet they miraculously have cigarettes.
Sure.
A pastor who's making $80,000 is crying because he's $200 short on a weekly tithe. Go tell it to somebody who fucking cares. It's not me,
right.
And it really is. It becomes this thing of buying your way into heaven and that type of thing. That's how I feel. I mean, they're not saying that, but it's that whole thing. You watch these. Obviously, televangelists are. I mean, that's a whole different story, but and a whole different that could be a whole podcast. But nonetheless. All these people are, they're constantly having their hand out, and they don't. My question is what are you doing to further the word? If that's that's the whole thing, then that's great. But a church should be mostly volunteer people, which a lot of people, I know a ton of people volunteer, and I understand buildings cost money and all that stuff. I get that, but when you got preachers making that kind of money, for very minimal work if you call it, which shouldn't be work, it should be I know people who have full-time jobs who are preachers. So
now I want to hear what you were passionate about earlier, because this should be good. Okay,
totally it's a different subject here. You can cut the tape here.
Got it.
Okay, not that there's a tape, but oh fuck. Okay,
and this will be our last one because we're almost at 3.
Okay,
and I'm not bothered by that.
I'm not.
I don't want to overwhelm you.
All right, no. All right.
But
I'm telling you, I could do this for 5 more hours.
All right, I do need to pee though. All right,
okay.
Go ahead.
All right, you want to take a break right now?
Let's take a break, and then I'll.
We'll be right back.
All right. So what's this story? Let me hear this.
It's not a story.
Oh, all right.
It's just it's more of a thought pattern, I guess. Whatever. You had said something earlier about we've been talking a lot about that, a lot about judging and judge and this judge, and let me ask you something. Like, what do you think of my house? When you walked in, what do you think about it? When you saw it on the outside, what do you think about it?
It's just like your average American home.
Okay.
I look at it and I think that you care for it well, that you keep it up.
Okay. What did you think of me when you first saw me?
When I first saw you?
Yeah. Or today, or first time, or whatever. Anytime.
I don't know. I see
me.
Yeah, you see your hair.
Yeah.
Are you asking me then, do I make any kind of judgments? Or
I'm asking you what you think.
Well, like, what do I think of you?
When you first saw me, say, what do you think? What'd you think?
I didn't want to grab my children and shove my family into the car and away from you. I wasn't afraid of you.
Okay.
Or anything like that.
But did you think...
That you were a mean person or that you were bad?
Did you, anything?
No.
Did you think that that guy might listen to metal?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Because you looked like, but I was a metal guy.
Okay. So you judged me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, everybody judges.
See, that's what gets me. There's so many people. It's constant. I'm not talking about anybody in particular. It's everybody. It just constantly says that's the whole thing. Don't judge me. You're not going to judge me until you walked in my shoes. Then you can judge me and everything. Well, what is judging? That's what I want to know. I want to know what judging is because,
there's good judging and there's bad judging.
Yeah, everybody judges everything and everybody.
Absolutely.
You see somebody walking on the street. They're attractive. They're not attractive. They're whatever. He has cool hair. He has bad hair. Whatever. You're judging. And. People, the thing, and that's fine, and that's great, and that's just what everybody does. But the people who say they don't judge are fucking liars.
That's absolutely true.
They constantly.
Hopefully, what they mean is they're not doing the bad judging, and the bad judging is, in my estimation, when you look at someone either just externally and start making like. When I think about judging, I think of like salvation type of judging. Like
I'm not talking about religious type of judging. Yes.
So what? Okay, so that is bad judging, or lumping together. But at the same time, I think we still lump together.
Absolutely.
Okay, based upon the way a person carries themselves, or the way they look, or maybe the clothing that they're wearing. I start making judgments. Right. I might be right, I might be wrong.
Right.
But sometimes I'm still going to be safe, for instance, I'm going to take some precautions here so as to avoid any kind of problem.
Right. But I know some people who say, I don't judge at all. And then in the same breath they'll say, oh, did you see so-and-so? They look so pretty today. That's judging. Or so-and-so looked ugly today. That's judging.
Okay.
Everything's judging. And it's one of those things that they...
What's the bad judging for you?
I don't necessarily think there is bad judging as far as all that, because people say,
what, racial profiling? Now see,
this is the thing. The thing. This is what I always tell people. If the people who knocked down the trade centers were long-haired 40-year-old white guys. I would expect at the airports to be detained. I get it. I understand that. The stereotypes are there for a reason.
And you would acknowledge after time you would grow annoyed with it, though.
Sure. I would grow annoyed with it. But in that same, I know a guy who's I'm guessing he's Muslim, coolest guy in the world, but he wears a turban.
Okay.
And at work, and he makes jokes about it all the time. He's like, yeah, I got to get to the airport 3 hours earlier all the time because, because of this.
Yep.
And he knows. But, like people who say, I'm talking about, people who have, 5 kids by 5 different husbands. And then they'll say, don't judge me about that. And sorry, no, you know what? I am. I'm.
And what what judgment are you making?
That they're a slut.
Okay.
Or not. Maybe not. You know what? Not even that they're a slut. that they make bad choices.
Okay.
In people.
It's a bad choice to have children?
No, it's not a bad choice to have children. And a bad choice in the people that they choose to procreate with. That's who they have bad judgments for. Yeah, that's right. I'm a single mom because I wanted to raise a child, not marry one. Well, okay. Well, obviously you wanted to fuck one because right? So, but it's one of those things. You don't know my situation. Well, yeah, I don't know your situation. But if you have 5 kids by 5 different people, that tells me that you're probably a bad
judge of character.
And all these people who bitch about their ex all the time. Well, who married the person? And I understand that some are legitimate and all. Don't get me wrong. I mean, obviously, there's anything. There's always exceptions to everything. But some of the stuff, it's legitimate. But some of it's, people just want to, give up or whatever with all that stuff. But
people don't want to be held accountable.
Right. Yeah.
They want excuses.
Right. It's always an excuse. It's never. That's what drives me crazy about things like. Say alcoholism. Okay.
So you don't think it's a disease?
No.
Okay.
No.
Do you think a person can be born with a tendency?
Maybe a tendency, sure. But, again, my brother and I have talked about this before about how, sometimes I've never smoked in my life. I think I smoked one night when I was 13 or something, whatever, with my friends. But sometimes I'll feel like I want a cigarette. Both my parents smoked growing up, and maybe I had that tendency, but people blame their lack of willpower on a disease. And again, that's not their fault. It's the disease's fault. It's not my fault. I don't want to drink, but the disease makes me drink. No, you don't want to drink, but you do drink. And, and people say, I saw this article before somebody posted about, it's all your friends who always say, I can give up drinking. I don't need, or I can do what all your friends who don't drink. It's just in them. And, it's not, and they don't have a bunch of willpower like they say. They're the same as you, but you just have this gene that says that you have to drink. And so don't feel bad about being an alcoholic. And it's like, well, you shouldn't feel bad about being an alcoholic. I'm to a degree. I mean, I understand it's terrible. It's a disease. It's not a disease, but it's a condition. It's a condition, and that sucks. But you can do it. It's very simple. I mean, whatever if I was addicted to, say, to comic books, and I thought comic books were ruining my life, okay, guess what? I would get rid of my comic books, and can
you get rid of them?
Sure.
Show me.
Show you.
Burn
Give
one
me a
right
match.
now.
Give me a match. Let's light them up.
Now, before you go any further, I just want you to know, as soon as some of our listeners sober up, you know that they're going to unfriend you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Trust me. If see, that's the thing. Again, it's like the expressing the opinion thing. If I have opinions about, I mean, obviously everything. Everybody has opinions, but I express mine a little bit more. And I have I have opinions on alcoholism. I have opinions on divorce, all this stuff. And if everybody knew all of my opinions, I always said I'd have 2 friends, my brother and my wife. And that's it.
I really do hate. I don't disagree with you. I think that's the reality, and I think that I hate that reality because I want people. It kills me, the person that does hide you or unfriend you because you have expressed your opinion. It goes back to the thing like, do you want the world to be made up of people just like you? And everybody all says no, but this decision tells yes.
But they do want that. Yeah, absolutely, yes.
And there are some things like in my life, I do wish people saw things the way I do or did things the way that I do. But there's a part of me that if I would find myself to unfriend somebody because something they said, I'd almost I think to myself, I suck. Man, I suck because I'm so fragile that I can't understand something. In life, there are levels of friendship, and the cheapest one is the Facebook friend. And so for you to say, I can't even be a Facebook friend with this person, I'm so fragile that I can't even, at least you could just maybe hide them.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Because I have people who've done that too. I know who they are.
Oh, and I do too. I know which of you jerks have just hidden me.
Well, I would say that, but I know who's hidden me, but they'll never listen to this because I'll put a link to this on it, and they'll never comment on it enough. And whatever, that's fine. But
to be so fragile that
I somewhat disagree because in a slight sense because it's
then now I'm unfriending you.
Right.
I unfriend you. How dare you, sir? Because this is my podcast. How dare you disagree with me? Show. I brought you in as a yes man. My bad.
Because people can't. I'm very palatable to anybody outside of Facebook. I mean, I can get along with people. I can talk to people. It's not like I go and just go up, hey, that fucking Obama sucks. Hey, what do you think about God? Or whatever. I mean, but
now I'll unfriend you for too many kitten pictures. Okay. Now that I'm like,
what if they're zombie kitten pictures?
That's a little bit more. Right. I can tolerate that. Right, but yeah, now see, that's what's weird. Is it like nothing? I have nothing against kittens, but I have no problem people sharing their atheist views or political views. Mm-hmm. But what'll kill me is if you send me too many Candy Crush requests. That's I'm like, you know what? Go to hell. I'm done with you.
Go with Haji in the hut and go to hell. I have found that from what I understand is those are generated automatically a lot of times.
True.
And those people don't actually send, but
they're still not my friends anymore.
I know.
The fact that they're playing Candy Crush says I don't know that I want you in my life.
You don't need those kind of people in your life.
Being said, both of my in-laws I think play Candy Crush, so
really?
they're still my friends.
They're okay. Yeah.
They're okay. I still refuse. I don't play it, but.
But all right. Well, so what were we saying?
I don't know.
Okay.
We were initially talking about judging.
Yeah.
And we hated that. Yeah. And alcoholism.
Oh. Yeah. The alcoholism.
And then we started talking about people.
Yeah, this is and another thing is I know it was one person in particular who they always say this about alcoholism, and they are they have blocked me, but they're still friends with me.
Yeah.
Which whatever, that's fine because our views aren't the same or whatever. And, it's one of those things, I guess. But they did wish me a happy birthday, which I found wild, But, okay, whatever. So anyway, but this person...
But that's kind of good.
But it's nice.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It was very nice. But let me ask you something, okay? So say there's a person out there who is an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Okay. And they know they're an alcoholic, and they've said that they're an alcoholic. It's kind of known,
Mm-hmm.
It's very known that they like to drink a lot and maybe have a problem.
Okay.
Okay. Now, if this person is constantly posting pictures of drinking, like them at bars, and them like pictures of drinks and
pictures of them consuming drinks.
Yeah, pictures of them consuming drinks. It's mostly just pictures of the drinks, whatever. And it's funny because I have a lot of people who do this, but there's one person in particular who this person who's blocked me who does it all the time, like constantly. And then there's other people who who do it every so often, which whatever, that's fine. But the thing is my question to you is if you know this, that they have a problem and they're posting this stuff, and then you click like, is that enabling them? Are you being an enabler? Or are you pushing their alcoholism along? Are you helping them or are you hurting them? What do you think?
I guess at the end of the day, I would say you're in some way, because you are aware that they have a problem with that.
You're aware of it.
And so by liking it, you're not like saying, this is bad for you. Like you really need to steer clear of this. But at the same time,
judging.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
And that's what gets me right there is all these people, not you.
Yeah.
But that look on your face, but all these people who say that, you are judging, and a lot of judgment.
So they're judging you because you don't like their stuff.
Well, no,
you should like this.
The judging also comes from. People need to realize judging also comes from maybe people going, I care about you.
Yes.
And I think that you're making a mistake.
Yep.
And because
People don't want to be held accountable.
But people don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that. They don't.
Mm-hmm.
And again, my life's not perfect and everything.
Right.
But you know what? I make mistakes every single day. But there are, people who need to hear this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, but now I'm judging.
Yeah, but especially if they are a friend.
Right.
If I really,
absolutely.
Yeah,
I'll tell you, if any of my friends are listening to this, and if you think I'm doing something bad for myself, or hurting myself, or doing something wrong, and that's going to hurt me in the long run, tell me. Mm-hmm. I won't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
I have zero problem with that. I would like that. I would encourage that.
But do you think that, like right now, as soon as you said that, my thought goes that there's a person out there that likes you enough that they would do that, but they also understand that when they do that to you, they can't very well then be upset with you when you do the reverse to them, even if it's out of love. So,
right.
So I don't. Nobody wants to be held accountable. Nobody wants to be to hear that negative about themselves. So maybe that's why they're not very apt to go ahead and give you that type of feedback, because they don't want to receive it. And if I give it, I have to. It's not fair that I'm giving it to you, but I'm not open to myself, so I just won't give it at all. I'm just going to let Jeff live his life.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crappy, I think.
Yeah, you live your life, I'll live mine, and we'll be fine, and all this stuff. And it's like, well, yeah, you know what? That's my thing. If I didn't care about somebody, I wouldn't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
I see people making mistakes every single day. Again, we have contractors at work that they're in and out all the time. And they're fucking, most of them are dopes, idiots. They can't find a real job. They can't, they're this and that. Some of them are great, good people, blah, 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 just between jobs or whatever. We were all contractors at one time, so we would get hired in. But the fact is that, I see these people making mistakes every day, and I, what am I going to say?
Right.
For instance, we used to work with this lady who, I don't know, probably a year or two ago, and I was talking to her, and she smokes. Okay?
Yeah. And
she smokes 2 packs a day.
Mm.
Her husband smokes 2 packs a day. Mm. I go, really? I'm like, well, what the way cigarettes are, I go, they're like $5-6 a pack. I go, so that's like, you're spending like $20-25 a day on cigarettes. She goes, yeah. And I go, that's 30 times 30. That's like $650, $700 a month. She's like, oh, yeah. That's my fucking house payment is $700. Mm-hmm. So you're smoking a house away. Which, hey.
What you could do.
Whatever.
That money, right?
Whatever. And again, if I were to say, why don't you stop smoking? Well, don't judge me. I want to smoke. If I want to smoke, I'm going to smoke. Fuck you. Mm-hmm. Well, okay, well, yeah, but I'm just trying to help you. I didn't say anything there because I barely knew her. I don't care. Yeah. But then you say something to somebody you care about, and all of a sudden you're judging them, and well, I'm just addicted, and then it rolls back into the whole thing. I'm addicted to cigarettes, so you don't know what it's like. I can't stop. I understand smoking is very. I get it. My mom's been off for a year now. My dad's quit 10 years ago, cold turkey. He was up to a lot, and so it can be done. I mean, my dad was 60 years old when he stopped.
Right. But you're not saying that it's easy.
By no means is it easy. I understand that. I mean, my mom stopped, tried to stop many times, and she had heart attacks and stuff or strokes and stuff because it was such a shock to her system and everything. But
she was actually healthier continuing to smoke.
Yeah. She was. She was actually doing better continuing to smoke. I know.
What if I had drinking to it?
Right.
I'll give you a picture of health.
Let's go. Yeah. Do some
where does cocaine fit into this picture? Give me a prescription, doctor.
So, you got, all of a sudden when you try to help someone, you're looked at, hey, well, you're not perfect, so you can't help me. Well, no, I know I'm not perfect, but I'm telling you that this is bad for you, and it's not helping you.
I think that there's a lot of overly sensitive people. I think that we live in a hyper-sensitive culture, whether it be about bullying or racism or sexism or anything like that. We're on edge, and it's almost like we're looking for something to be offended by.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is just no fun. A person like myself, who with ADHD, and now I've got to think through what I'm going to say. Listen, I would tell you right now, I don't believe that I'm racist or sexist.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that I am. Somebody would say, well, of course, the KKK guy doesn't think he is either. He just thinks he's right. Okay, whatever. But I don't think that I'm racist. I really generally don't think that there's any innate...
I'm not racist. I hate everybody the same.
Yeah, well, that's probably more along the where I am. But still, being as it may, because of this hyperly sensitive culture, like, you find yourself having to think through things before you say them all the time. And that's... I don't know. I just wish that I could have, like, a badge and it says, this guy's not racist. Therefore, anything I say... Even though I'm intentionally making like a joke, you would know, oh, it's really not racist. He's really not sexist, or whatever. Did I tell you my newest thing that I think you can do with texting now? I think it's brilliant.
Okay.
Like, you send somebody like a really off-color thing, then just follow it up with stupid autocorrect, and it just takes care of everything, no matter what you say.
Right?
Damn autocorrect! Just blame it on autocorrect.
I meant to say, I love you, or whatever. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's genius. I don't know if it's going to
I don't think
in a court of law. I don't know if I can get unfired with it, but
maybe.
Did you ever get fired from a job?
Once.
For what?
Just once. It wasn't even a real job. I was it was like my first job, but it wasn't a real like official job. We have Brunswick Old Fashioned Days here.
Yes.
And my buddy's mom was like one of the coordinators of it, whatever. So they hired us to unload like the trailers and do all this bullshit and everything.
And you're how old?
14.
Okay.
15, I think, something like that. And while Old Fashioned Days was going on, we were supposed to empty the garbage and all this shit and everything. And it was just, it was $4 an hour or whatever it was. And so it was just shit work and just sucked and everything. But, we needed money and it was during summer and the whole bit. So we're working, and then, so then which was fine. And then the whole fair started and all of our friends came.
Yeah.
So we had our little walkie-talkies, we just turned them off and walked around, and the garbages were overflowing and all this shit. So then his mom came up to us and was like, give me your radios, you're both fired. We go, cool. And we just gave her a radio, and then we went with a friend.
It was her son?
Yeah.
She fired her son and you?
She fired her son and me.
Heartless.
Yes, absolutely heartless.
You don't want to work with somebody like that.
No, absolutely not.
Just
you
can't.
For sakes, no.
Yeah. You should have sued her.
Yeah, right. But other than that, no, one other job. My first real job was at Richie's Pub, and I worked there for 4 years, and then I got a job at Hercules Products in Brunswick, and we did like spa packs, like power stuff for spa. That's how I learned to wire. Then I went to Van Dorn, which was about 1,000 feet away from there, and wired bigger control panels. And then now I'm at Rockwell, and I wired huge control panels. And I've been there for 15 years now.
Wow.
So, but I know what I was going to ask you, like, with the ADHD.
Yeah.
You said you have ADHD. Now, when were you diagnosed with this?
When I was about 24.
Okay. Had you ever heard of it before that?
Yeah, I had.
Oh, because I haven't. Because I contend all this stuff. It just makes me wonder how, all this stuff. I think it just has new names for it. Like you never heard of autism before. You never heard of ADHD. You never heard of all this stuff. You know what it was with. Then it was ADD. Now it's ADHD and all this stuff. And it's like, well, you were just a spaz. That's what it was. I mean, that was just get your head together, kid. You can't think straight.
Well, you can call it whatever. You can call it any term. It doesn't matter to me. The way I explain
I call it racism.
It's that too.
Okay.
Let me ask you a question. So you're a comic guy. Did you watch cartoons when you were a kid too?
Sure.
Okay, you loved cartoons.
Oh my God, yeah.
All right. Well, hopefully you'll remember this. There was this one cartoon I remember watching as this kid, and the kid is in school, and the cartoon just kind of has him looking out the window, and there'd be a bird sitting on the windowsill.
Okay.
And the bird would then transform into a pterodactyl.
Okay.
And all of a sudden he's in the jungle, and so now the kid is in the jungle.
Was this
it was like
in
one of
Romper Room?
I don't remember if it was that.
My name is Simon. One of the things I draw come true. Remember that?
No. This was more. It was a Looney Tunes type of commercial, and the kid was blonde haired. And I remember him sitting at a desk, and it's kind of, the shot is like from the side, and so you see this. Anyway, the next thing you know, the kid is in the jungle and all this kind of stuff.
Okay.
Well, as I grew older, I understood that kid. That kid made perfect sense to me because that was exactly who I was. And I couldn't ever, I just thought everybody was like that, and I just thought I was the crappiest student ever. I could not maintain focus unless I had a teacher that would really engage me. If they could, but you don't have that. A lot of these teachers were just like Bueller, like that. But you give me a teacher who, one, is engaging, and two, it's a topic that is interesting to me. I'm engaged. I'm there. So that was kind of the thing. Then the other way I would describe it is this: when you're having a conversation, for a person that has ADHD, in the normal brain, if your thoughts or the words that you're going to choose from to speak, if the thoughts are like on a road, let's say, for a normal person, it's like a 2-lane highway. And so from those 2 lanes, you pick the words that you want to piece together to make your sentence.
Okay.
With ADHD, it's like a 6 or 8-lane highway. And so it's overwhelming because there's all these things I can choose from. And so for
like
me,
all the Terminator responses, like when he goes and knocks on the door, remember that?
Sort
it comes
of,
up
yes.
and it's like, fuck you, asshole, hello, welcome, whatever.
Yeah. But I just have all those, I feel like I have overload of things to choose from. So in turn, sometimes I'll stutter or stammer because I'm trying to choose what word I want to use.
Okay.
And additionally, when you're in an environment where there's a lot of stimulation, it's hard for me to shut some of that off. So I'll be listening to you, but I'm also listening to kind of to what they're saying.
Sure.
But I'll make it look like I'm into you.
I do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that means I have ADHD?
No, not necessarily.
Oh, okay.
No.
So then what constitutes you having ADHD?
Because I paid a guy a lot of money and he said I diagnosed you with ADHD.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah.
You probably have alcoholism and racism too. Huh?
Well,
probably a little bit of sexism.
Yeah. A little bit. Just a touch.
Just a touch.
Just a skosh. All right. So we're now past 3 hours, 11 minutes.
Okay.
Anything else you want to talk about?
Not at this time. I'm sure. I hope to be a guest again in the future.
I think
podcast.
so.
Yeah.
I think so. When I first started discussing this and having this, you, Jeff, I knew that you were going to be one, and so in turn, there's going to be another one in the future.
Wow.
So as
maybe there could be a Scott and Jeff show in the future, or something like that.
You never know.
You never know. Yeah, we could have guests. And is there any way we could do somewhere where we could have people call in or something, do this live or anything like that?
We don't have the budget for that.
No,
I don't have that. No.
Oh my God!
Now what I could do?
All went to catering.
What we could do is I could potentially just ask people to submit questions.
Oh.
And then we could print those out, and then we could discuss those there. So that's something to consider.
Oh.
Because that is something I do want. I do want to be able to have follow-up with you. So if somebody has a question after hearing this, go, well, why do you do this? What happened here?
Oh.
I want to be able to either have you answer it or come back and say, I talked to Jeff, he said go to hell.
Okay.
So, all right, Jeff, thank you for your time. Thank you for
Sure.
giving up your Saturday morning.
Oh, not a problem.
Thank you for being
Anytime.
Thank you for being you. So there you have it, the incomparable and ever opinionated Jeff Henson. Jeff, thanks for spending so much of your Saturday morning with me. I look forward to our next session. Now, one thing we didn't get into this time, but we're definitely going to talk about next time, is Jeff is a big-time photographer. He takes some pictures that are really, really gorgeous, pictures that you don't see every place. He really is an iconic photographer, if I don't mind saying so myself. But what I have done is on our link, consideringthesource.com, there is a link to his Facebook page full of his photography. So feel free to check that out and see some of the work that he's done. It is available for purchase. So I think that if you look through there, you might find something that you actually like, that you're maybe quite fond of. So once again, hey guys, thank you so much for listening to this. I beg of you, please tell a friend, tell somebody that you might know that they might be interested in this to listen in. And I also want to tell you this. This past Saturday, I did an interview with my friend Adam Glogie. That's going to be posting next Friday afternoon. So be sure and tune in for that, because let me just tell you something. My friend Adam, his interview is the only word I can come up with, and I really believe it is true, is the word powerful. When Adam talks about his life and the things that he went through from childhood up until he was in college. There are some truly amazing stories in there, so be sure and tune into that. Anyway, have a great day, have a great weekend, and remember, everyone has a story.